So in this session, we will discuss a few programs based on functions and the concept of pass by value and pass by reference. So here we have a program to find the cube of a number. Okay. So here we have a sample output. The entered number is 2. So the cube of 2 is 2 into 2 into 2, that is 8. So here we have main function. Okay, so in the main function, the control starts from here, the main function. We have declared two variables to hold the number and the result. So we have scanf function to take the input. So let's take the input 2, the number is 2. So in a num, we are having 2. Okay, so and then we are calling the function call. There is a function call. There's a function call, and the name of the function is a cube, and we are passing one parameter or argument, that is num, which is of type integer. Okay, so we are passing the value 2. And now when the function call, during function call, the control will be passed to the definition of the function, which is here. So this is the function called function. This is a called function where we have written the logic of finding the cube of a number. And one more thing, we have not written the function declaration because we are writing the function definition before the function call. So that is why no need of writing the function declaration. So here we are declaring this is a local variable. Okay, so this is a local variable num, and that value will be copied to this num. Okay, so we are having a variable result, okay, which is of type integer, and we are performing the cube of number 2 into 2 into 2, which will store the result 8. And here this is a function with the return type, and the return type is of type integer. Okay, so it will, this is a return statement. Okay, so return statement will return the result 8. Okay, so after performing the execution of the function definition, the control will return to the calling function. Okay, and we are returning the value 8, result 8, which will be stored in the variable 8. And finally we are displaying, we are going to the next statement, printf statement. The cube is 8, so it will display the cube is 8. Okay, and remember this int num, it is a local to this function. Okay, so all the variables that we are declaring in this function, they are local to this function. You cannot access outside this function. So as soon as this function definition ends, this all local variable will get destroyed. Okay, they will get destroyed. This is the same program, but we are explaining the same program, but here we are declaring, we are defining the function, but this function has no return type, okay, and no parameter. So this is A scenario where we are finding a cube of a number, but the function has no return type or no parameter. So let's see the execution of this program. So we are entering to the main. So we are calling the function cube and we are not passing any parameter. Okay, so it will enter to the function definition. And here we are declaring two variable num and result. We are asking the user to enter num. Assume that we are entering the same 2. Okay, and we are finding the result, and in the result, so I'll just write res. We are performing the cube of 2, which will give us the result 8, and the printf function will print in the screen the cube is 8. Okay. So as soon as this function definition enters, comes to an end, the control will be returned to the called function, calling function call. Okay. So this is a program to display the Fibonacci series in a C using a function. So we have already discussed about Fibonacci series program in module 3 using for loop. Okay. So now we'll be displaying the Fibonacci series using the concept of functions. Okay. So let's understand the program. So we are entering the number. Okay. I hope you remember the Fibonacci series. Okay. So this is how the Fibonacci series. So on it continues. Okay. So this is zeroth number. Okay. This is first number. Second number is 1. Third number is 2. Fourth number. Okay, so on. Entered the number. Scanf. Assume that you are entering the number 3. Okay, that will be stored in the variable n. Okay. Then we are displaying the Fibonacci series is, and we are calling the function Fibonacci series. So this is the name of the function. Okay, and we are passing the value n, okay, which will be copied to the variable num. Okay, now num is having the value 3. Okay. So we have passed the value 3, and that value is copied to num. So num is having the value 3. So we have to display the 3 Fibonacci series. A is equal to, these are all local variables to the function Fibonacci series. So A is having the value. So inside this function, A is having the value 0. Okay. B is having the value 1. Okay. And then, so before understanding this program, go through the Fibonacci series program, which we already discussed in module 3. So int I is equal to 0. I will start from 0. Okay. And I is less than num. So 0 is less than num. Num is 3 here. Okay. Printf A. So what is the value of A? Printf statement. It will print the value of A. So this is our output. Okay. This is our output. Okay. So it will print the value of A, that is 0. Okay. Next. 0 plus B. B is 1. So C is having the value 1. Okay. C is having the value 1. B is copied to A. So B is copied to A. So A is having the value 1. C is copied to B. What is the value of C? C is copied to B. So C is copied to B. Okay. And then increment the value of I. I will become now 1. 1 is less than 3. Yes. Condition is true. Display the value of A. What is the value of A? A is 1. The next Fibonacci series. Okay. Okay. Next A plus B. What is the value of A? A is 1. B is 1. Store it in C. So that is 2. We are going to store here 2. Okay. We are going to store 2. So that is the sum of these two. Okay. That is 2 will be stored in C. Then copy the value of B to A. So what is the value of B? B is 1. That will be copied to A. So in A we are storing 1. And copy the value of C to B. So what is having C? C is having 2. That will be copied to B. So that is next 2. Okay. So next again the I value will continue. It will become 2. 2 is less than 3. Yes, condition is true. Display the value of A. What is the value of A? That is 1. Okay, next I value, so on it continues. So next I value will become 3. The condition fails. So we'll end the Fibonacci series function and control will return to the function call. Okay, so here in A and B we will be storing the previous two numbers. Okay, always remember in A and B we are storing the previous two numbers. Okay, initially in the first first we were storing 0 and 1. Initially we are storing in A and B 0 and 1, first two numbers. After that we are performing the sum of these two, okay, using okay A plus B. Okay, this is our initial A and B value, which is 0 and 1. And the next time our A and B value will become these two. Okay, so in that case this will become A and this will become B. So that is why we are performing B is equal to A and C is equal to A. C is this one. Okay. So before understanding this program, go through the Fibonacci series program discussed in module 3. This is one more program related to factorial. Okay, to find the factorial of a given number using the concept of functions. So here we are having the function definition. This is function definition. So we'll start the program from here, main function. Okay, in main function, so result we are declaring of type long. Okay, and we are entering the num. Okay, so num value, let us assume it is 3. Okay, what is 3 factorial? 3 is, I can write it as 1 into 2 into 3. Okay, or I can also write it in the reverse order, 3 into 2 into 1, which will give the result as a 6. This is the results I am supposed to get. So we'll make a function call, okay, with the value num is equal to 3. So that will be copied to the integer local variable int n is 3. Okay, we are declaring initially fact is equal to 1. Okay, I value will start from 1. So initially the I value will start from 1. This is our I value. Okay, and it can take up to the value less than or equal to n. So n is 3. So I can take the value up to 3. Okay. So initial I value is 1. Fact is equal to, this is assignment operation. Okay. Yeah, this is fact. This will be nothing but, this is fact is equal to fact into I. Shortened operation, fact is equal to fact into I. Okay. So 1. So initially it is 1 into 1. So in this fact we are storing 1. And then again the I value will become 2. Increase. Check the condition 2 is less than 3. Yes. And next, fact is equal to fact into I. Now the I value is 2. So fact value is 1. 1 into 2. It will become 2. So you are storing in fact 2. Okay, I increment the value of I will become 3 now. So 3 is less than or equal to 3. Yes, condition is true. Fact is equal to fact into I. So fact is 2, I is 3. 2 into 3, it is 6. So we are going to store 6. Okay, and return 6. So we are returning, this is a return statement. We are returning the value that is there in the variable 6, and it is of type long. Okay, and so when you encounter this return statement, it will go to the function call. The control will go to the function call, and the result what you get will be stored in the variable result, that is 6. So finally we are going to print factorial of percentage d is equal to percentage ld. Ld is nothing but ld is used for format specifier for long. So what is the value that is there in num? Num is 3, and what is the value that is there in 6? It is, result, it is 6. So this is about the factorial. Okay, same logic that we discussed in module 3. Okay, but here we are making use of function call. Next, coming to the types of parameters or arguments, there are two types of parameters. Okay, actual and formal parameters. Okay, there are two types of parameters. Parameters inside the function call. So this is our function call. Okay, the parameters, there are two parameters here. So these parameters are called as actual parameters. So I'll just write it in short. They are called as actual parameters. And the parameters that we have in function definition and function declaration, they are called as, so these parameters, okay, which is there in function declaration and function definition, they are called as formal parameters. Formal parameters. So there are two types. So remember these words. So actual and formal parameters. In function call, it is called as actual. In function declaration and definition, they are called as formal parameters. Next, coming to the very important concept, the types of argument passing or parameter passing mechanism. So parameter passing means passing argument or parameters from one function to another function. Okay, so here parameter passing means we are passing the arguments or parameter from one function to another function. Okay, there are two types of parameter passing mechanism: passing by value and passing by reference. So first we'll discuss about pass by value, or we call it as call by value. When a variable or value is passed to the function during its function call, remember we are passing the variable or value, okay, during its function call, it is called as pass by value. So in this type, the value of actual parameters are copied to formal parameter. Okay. So let's understand this with an example program. It will be very clear for you. So we have taken an example of swapping two numbers using temporary variable. Okay. So let's understand. So this concept is called as pass by value. Okay. So here, this is our function definition. Okay. This is our main program. Okay. So this is our main. Short. Okay. So in main we have two variable A 10, okay, and B and B20, and they will be having some address. Okay, let's me take it as 2000, and here it is something like 2010. Okay, just an assumption, it will be having an address something like this. Okay, and before value before exchanging, so before exchanging the values are 10 and 20. So value before exchanging, and then we are making a call to the function exchange. Okay, and we are passing two parameters. Okay, so A and B, which is having the value 10 and 20. Okay, so here when we making the call to the function, okay, so it will go to the called function. Okay, this is our function call, and this is our called function. So we will go to this function, and here the value whatever we are passed, okay, that will be copied to the local variable P and Q. So this is our exchange function. Okay, just write this much, and they will be having two variable P and Q with the value. Okay, now we have to exchange these two values. We are supposed to exchange these two values. Okay, next we are declaring, and even they will be having some address. Okay, some address it will be having 1001 and 1060. Okay, some address it will be having. Okay, and we are declaring one more variable temp. Okay, and remember these all variables are local to this function exchange. Okay, when we end this function, so these all variables will get destroyed. Okay, so all this variable are local variable to the function. Okay, int temp is equal to p. So whatever the value that is there in p, we are going to store it in temp. So what is the value that is there, which we have already discussed this logic for exchanging the value. So p value will be stored in temp. Q value will be stored in p. So what is the value in q? So it is 20, and that will be stored here. So we are going to store 20 here. Next, whatever the value that is there in temp will be stored in q. So temp is having, so here whatever the value that is there in temp, we are storing it in q. Okay, so this is how we are going to exchange the value. Initially we had 10 and 20, now we are having 20 and 10. Okay, and here you can have one printf statement to display the value of p and q. Okay, which can display the value 20 and 30. Okay, Next, once we come out of this function definition, okay, when we end this function definition, all this variable will get destroyed. Okay, so and when we end this function definition, we will come to the control will return to the function call, and then we are going to print the value after exchanging. Okay, now if you see here, the value of a and b has not changed. It is still 10 and 20. Again, it is going to display 10 and 20. Okay, you cannot have p and q here. You cannot display p and q here. Okay, because these two variables are local to this function exchange. They can use it only within this function. You cannot have this p and q here. Okay, if you try to execute the program by having p and q here, so you'll not get the output. Okay, here only variable that we have declared is a and b, only that can be used. Okay, suppose if you want to have printf statement with p and q only, you can give it here. I can have a printf function to display the value of p and q. Outside this function, exchange function, you cannot access the value of these variables. So these all variables are local to this exchange. So that is the main drawback of call by value. Okay, so the output will be here also it is 10 and 20, here also it is 10 and 20. Okay, suppose if you write printf statement here for displaying p and q, then you can print the swapped values. Okay, so this is something like a original copy. Okay, and this is something like your Xerox. Okay, p and q are something like your Xerox of a and b. Okay, whenever you make any change to your Xerox copy, that is P and Q, your original copy will not be affected. Okay, so you are making a copy of the parameters here. We are making a copy of the parameter without affecting the original variables. Okay, so. So this is what the output you can see. Value before exchange is 10 and 20. Value after the exchanges, again it is displaying 10 and 20. The value of A and B will not be affected. Okay, it will remain same. So value of actual parameter, so actual parameter are copied to the formal parameter. So actual parameter is this A and B, they are actual parameter, they are copied to this formal parameter. We are making a copy of the value without affecting the original value. So